Behind the Roar, the official podcast of West Tigers.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 27 of Behind the Roar, the official podcast of West Tigers, where we kick speculation into touch, where we give it to you straight, and where we learn more about the people and the stories behind this great club. A big day for the club this coming Saturday at Allianz Stadium, so it's a double header. First up, the NRLW team. They're coming off 3 straight losses. It's going to be a big task for the girls up against, a star-studded Roosters team. We wish them the best of luck. And then the NRL team. They're coming off, a last-minute victory, wasn't it, really, over the Dolphins. Epic scenes it was at CommBank Stadium. If you were there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Appy's sideline conversion, hitting the crossbar and going in. So we back that up against the Chooks, and they're obviously targeting a finals appearance. So it's going to be a tough day for us, but let's hope we can get back-to-back wins at Allianz Stadium on Saturday. Roll on into Sunday then, and we've also got our Jersey Flegg Cup and our New South Wales Cup teams, both of them also playing the Roosters. That's at Weddy Park too, so if you can get out there, go and support both the Flegg and the Cup teams. Well, this week's guests, he's a former West Tigers, I guess you say utility back. He played 90 NRL games across 6 seasons at the club before, sadly, his career was cruelly cut short by a chronic knee injury. He scored 39 tries for West Tigers in those 90 appearances over 6 seasons. He tried to go again with Manly Sea Eagles, I think, in 2016, but it was quite clear for him that the body had called it a day. Welcome back to the club for this edition of Behind the Roar, Tim Moltzen. Thanks for joining us, Timmy.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, well, we'll talk about a whole heap of stuff with you, post-retirement, the troubles you went through, and all sorts of stuff. But, I mean, how are you these days? How you doing?
Mate, I'm good. Little family and still here in Sydney. Just trying to enjoy life as it is at the moment, but still love watching my footy and very much a Tigers supporter still. So, just riding the wave, I guess.
Well, mate, I'd be dirty if you changed your stripes. I mean,
no,
once
I
a
never
Tiger,
would. Never would.
You were out there last weekend at CommBank. A lot of the old boys were there. What a game. What a game.
Mate, kept us on our toes and...
I thought we were gone.
Yeah, well, look, I think that's some good signs for the future, to have some resilience and be able to come away with a win there and sort of not put their head down and let the game get away from them. Yeah. Appy said he'd been practicing those kicks. So.
Mate, he has. He puts in a lot of time after work, after trainings. He's there. He's always there punching them over, you know. But
I believe that. I remember he was at Manly when I was there in my last year.
Right, yeah.
So I did a pre-season with him and got to know him, and he's definitely a hard worker, and
well, that would have been in his real early days, right?
It was just after he'd been at Penrith for a couple of years.
Yep.
Then he went to Manly, and he was there for a couple of years, and then obviously went back to Penrith, and now he's here. But, yeah, gosh, that was a long time ago, 2016.
He's a quality guy, and he's developed into a real, a born leader at this club.
Yeah.
He said when he kicked that conversion at the weekend that tumbled over, when he struck it, he said a little prayer almost to himself. He didn't want to look up. He just looked down. He wasn't sure if he'd given it enough gas. Gave it just enough.
Well, they only just got there. I've seen them bounce a little crueler than that at times. So, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, look, the boys, it's been a tough season and we're, at the wrong end of the ladder, but every game they're putting in. But, bar a couple of blowouts, they've been in pretty much every game.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I think, even across the whole competition, there's teams that have a lapse every week, or and you don't quite know where they're at. Apart from the top 2 teams in the competition, the rest are all quite scattered. So it's a strange old comp. To see the boys put 60 on someone like the Cowboys and then that reverse when they went up there. Yeah, it's just a weird comp, and trying to find some, I guess, consistency across the competition has been very difficult apart from the top two teams.
You're right. I mean, I think a lot of the teams have had big scores at one point or another put on them, apart from probably the top teams. That's why they're at the top, eh?
That's what they are.
Mate, so these days, Timmy, you're in real estate. Tell us more about your role, what you've done post-retirement.
Mate, so, look, I had to make a decision pretty quick smart. Definitely didn't plan to retire at 26. Always sort of envisioned playing till sort of late 20s, early 30s, going to England and doing a stint there, and sort of had that mapped out. Wasn't to be with this knee injury, and unfortunately with Golden Staff and the knee injury took a lot of the cartilage out. So the wear and tear, I just couldn't turn up week in, week out and put the knee through what I needed it to. So
we'll talk more about that and the challenges that you faced.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, how are you now today physically?
Physically, yeah, I'm good.
You can't run marathons, but
mate, I wouldn't attempt to run a marathon. I've mucked around and played a bit of touch here and there, and
well, if you can play touch, you're doing better than me.
Yeah.
Well,
I need something like that because I'm competitive as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, to go from playing, as a kid, I grew up playing touch footy and league and anything I could. Retiring at 26, and coming into training every single day and always footy, to then just completely cutting it out of your life. It's pretty dramatic.
We'll talk about all that, right?
Yeah.
How this works, okay, Timmy? You'll hear the whistle blow. I'll ask you 6 questions. The opening set of 6 to get to know you a little bit better.
Yep.
The middle section of the potty will have a deeper chat about some of the issues.
Yeah, of course.
You've just spoken about, and then at the back end, see that clock up there, with about 5 to go. That one, that's it. You got it.
Yep.
That's it. Liar, there's no clock up there. With about 5 to go, we'll throw the favourite 5 at you, right?
Yeah.
Moments, people, places. You're still searching for the clock, aren't you?
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah.
It's a virtual.
I mean, the place is that new. It wouldn't surprise me if something just fell out of the roof or something. Definitely different to what I remember.
I will tell you, I just took Timmy on a tour of the Zurich Centre. First time you've been around the joint.
Yeah.
It's a bit different to what you've...
It's a tad different. Yeah, a tad different. We used to park at one end and just walk through some glass doors and train under a grandstand. So it's definitely a little bit different nowadays.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, look,
and
great.
You've seen a few familiar faces in the corridors out there.
Yeah, look, there's a few still hanging around, which is
big buttocks.
Yes, which is good to see. No, big Ciro's out there, and mate, I mean, when I started, I was at Balmain when I started with Flegg and Premier League, and Ciro's obviously staunch Balmain boy, and great history with the club there.
We'll talk about your pathways too coming up, because, so Central Coast boy, then you came through the Balmain pathways.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's save that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Okay, well, we better kick things off. Let's launch into the opening set of 6. You ready to roar?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. It's your NRL debut, Timmy Moltzen.
Yep.
Sunday, 16th of March.
Yep.
It's round 1, 2008. It's against the Dragons.
Yes.
At the Sydney Football Stadium, or whatever it was called.
SFS, yeah.
Referees Sean Hampstead.
Yep.
You come off the bench.
I do.
You score a try on debut.
I do.
A lot of people do, don't they? In your team, you've got the likes of Benji, Robbie, Hino, John Morris, Chris Lawrence, Dean Hallertau, Bo Ryan, Brett Hodgson, and Big Keithy Galloway.
Yep.
It's a fair side.
Yeah.
Righto. There is the whistle. let's launch into the opening set of 6, Tim. Even before your NRL debut, can you tell us a bit about your journey to the NRL and sort of when you knew that you were destined to hopefully become a professional rugby league player?
Look, I guess started playing league when I was young, around 4, and I think, playing right through till late teens, I guess. It's always a dream of any kid playing the game, I guess. But there was an incident where I fractured my skull. I think I was 16.
True.
And that, I sat a full year out of footy because of that. So
That was playing footy?
yeah, playing footy.
No headgear?
No headgear. I tripped and fell, and the guy was running, knee to the head, and I had a depressed skull fracture. So that was pretty brutal. Just knocked out for 2 minutes. Didn't really think too much of it at the time. Ended up having to get surgery. So that wiped me out for a year. And I think in that year, I realised that having footy taken away from me, I realised that I wanted it back, and I wanted it back badly. So I just put my head down and,
So that was on Central Coast. I
was on the Central Coast, just in a local
rep
comp.
teams and all that?
No, I didn't make any rep teams. Didn't make any rep teams up there. And it wasn't until I came back from that injury and was playing school footy.
So how'd you fall into the Balmain pathway system?
Mate, we had a team up there called the Central Coast Rip, and they played in the SG ball comp.
Yep.
I think it was 8 games at the start of the year. I played for them in the halves, played pretty well. Then ended up from that getting a manager and playing some school footy, doing all right with that, but not playing like New South Wales or anything. And I guess, a few clubs thought they'd seen enough to warrant getting me down to Sydney. The Tigers were the top of my list, so that's how I ended up here at the West Tigers.
Why were they at the top of the list?
Well, at that time, it was 2006, so they'd not long come off winning that premiership. Exciting brand of footy. They had, Benji and a lot of young guys around. Not that I saw myself jumping straight into first grade, but probably more just wanted to be around them and be around a club that was exciting. So that was why I chose the Tigers.
It's a good point you make, and I forget, they're at the top of the tree. They've just won the premiership, and they've got young, aspiring juniors like yourself, and you weren't a junior in this pathway, but you became because you were attracted to the club and the success. So makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was, look, and I think going through that process, you sit down, and I think Sheensy was probably the only coach that gave me the time and sat down with me to make the pitch. There were a few other clubs, and that didn't happen. So I just felt that they were a little more genuine, and that proved right.
Mate, tell us, even before your NRL debut, do you remember much about the week leading up to it and the game itself? And being told you're going to make your debut?
Yeah, look, it was a long time ago, but I do remember it. I was coming off the bench, and Sheensy liked to have a utility on the bench. Right. So therefore that was me, the utility tag. It's not the best tag to have at times because,
what did you consider yourself, an outright fullback?
No, well, look, I was a half growing up, but then I guess we'll get into it. But in 2009, when Hodjo left in 08, 09, there was a sort of like a fullback spot opened up, and Sheensy thought he'd test me out there and see how I went, and
did okay.
Ended up doing okay and enjoying it, and sort of fell in love with that position as well. But also still very much loved the halves. So it was I was happy to play wherever I was needed. But I guess going back to the debut, I I was going to be on the bench and I was going to come on with about 15 to go, maybe playing the centres or, do something like that and just
Wherever needed.
wherever I was needed. Benj did his knee in the first 15 minutes, PCL.
Right.
Which is good and bad because,
Yeah. Big shoes.
well, it was like bad for him, but good for me in the sense that
Way
I
it
didn't have
happens.
time to think about it.
Yeah.
I was just up and straight on.
Yeah.
Johnny Morris was playing halfback and I was just playing 5'8". And obviously we still got guys of Robbie Farah and Hodjo there steering the team around, and they just told me just to, run and, do the things that I needed to do, and I did. And,
Play footy.
yeah, exactly. Just enjoy myself and scored a try. And we won the game, which was pretty cool.
A couple of bonus questions then. This still is a set of 6. I think we're only up to question 3 or whatever. This is part A. Do you remember the score?
I don't, but I do remember we won maybe 20,
Give me the margin. If you can give me the margin, you'll get a bonus prize.
26-12 maybe.
Ooh, close, Timmy. 24-16.
Okay.
Part B to the question. Last chance for a bonus point. You've got both of these. You drive the car away, but you've missed the car. Who was your captain?
Hodjo.
Boom. Well done. Okay. You don't get the car, but I'll get you a cup of coffee later on.
Beautiful.
Tell us a bit about your family life, growing up, that sort of thing, and current family life as well.
Yeah. Great family life growing up and now as well. Grew up on the Central Coast, so had a great childhood. Older brother, younger sister, parents living in Wombrel, still there now.
Not a bad part of the world.
Great part of the world.
The Wombi Sharks, Wombrel Terrible Sharks.
Wombrel, terrible Sharks actually. But grew up on the beach, on the footy field, playing every sport, at the beach every summer.
Doing hill sprints up the Skillion.
Yeah. When we did get serious about it, there was a few of us that kept each other accountable, and
I think Hino's been spotted doing some old, well, not sprints up that Skillion, but he's still keeping in shape.
Mate, he's
living
in
up
good
there.
nick. He has to be. He runs water for, I think, a couple of teams. So.
Still a big unit.
Yeah, he's a big barrel.
He's a barrel, isn't he?
Human. But yeah, I mean, we were always out of the house, never in the house up there. We'd go from school to the beach to the footy field, and got into golf a little bit up there as well. So, yeah, had a great childhood.
Family's still up there, Central Coast.
My parents are, actually everyone is. My sister, my brother, and my parents are still up there.
Jets changed the Central Coast and Terrigal, Wombrel. I spent all my childhoods there. Summers as a kid. I remember fishing into the Terrigal Lagoon off the little bridge there.
Yeah.
Bought in a few flatties too.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I don't know if they're still there. I think probably fish it dry.
You'd probably pull in a tourist now. They all just float around in there on little inflatables and mate.
The paddle boat's still there.
Yeah.
That fella used to hire out the paddle boats.
Yeah, the ones that you
push,
paddle.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still there,
Well, they
but
couldn't
maybe
be.
they've been they're
40
outdated and the
40
paddle
years
boards are
ago.
there. Yeah. But look, I mean, bridge is still there, but that lake's filled with a bit more than fish.
Yeah, no, it's a great. I could tell some stories about some summers up there. I tell you, but that's probably for another podcast, Timmy. Away from work and what you do, and we'll touch more about what you do because I sort of skipped through that. Well, no, dive into that now. Work wise in real estate.
Yep.
Tell us a bit more about your role, what you do.
So I'm a buyer's agent in the real estate world.
So I want to buy a house. You help me get it for the right price.
Yeah, essentially, that's the crux of it. But yeah, there's a little bit more to it. But
I'm sure, yeah.
Essentially, just helping people find the right house,
Then negotiate.
and then negotiate and actually purchase the property.
Yeah.
We buy a lot of properties off market, so a lot of stuff that people don't see on the realestate.com or domain and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So it's just getting access to certain properties and then obviously negotiating for people. And I think, a lot of people buying property probably don't realise how much goes into finalising the deal and actually getting a deal over the line.
And we're all time poor, right? So it is time consuming.
It is
purchasing a property.
Look, it is, and I guess the other thing is, once I find out what someone's looking for, I can go out and actually find that. Whilst most people will just be sitting there scrolling, and waiting for something to pop up, and then go and end up hating it anyway.
So you're looking through mansions every day, but you've come across some beautiful joints, have you?
What's
the best place you've gone into and thought, whoa, my lord?
Oh, nothing.
And put a price tag on
nothing
it.
surprises me anymore.
Come on,
nah, mate. Honestly, nothing surprises me anymore. But as I said off air, I bought a unit the other week for $700,000. But I've also bought a place for close to 20 million. So it depends on the clients and what they want, and what they need, and they're both just as hard. Just you get a little bit more money for.
Dealt with any difficult buyers, any difficult personalities? Is that a daily thing?
There's definitely some difficult personalities, definitely. But that's part of the job.
Who do you work for? Give them a plug if you want.
Yeah, so the company's Cohen Handler. Quite a big company, actually. Been around since, I think, 2008. So probably bought the whole buyer's agent scene to Sydney and Australia, essentially. And now have practices across Australia in most states. So
I'm just wondering, give them another plug.
Cohen Handler.
I'm wondering if Cohen
Handler.
There's probably some space here. So we're looking for, I think, a real estate type partner here at the Tigers.
Yeah, right.
Got any pull there,
mate? No, not really.
All right.
I just work there.
Well, maybe my introduction.
Yeah, mate, I can make an introduction. Look, they're big. They're a big company, but a lot of the stuff they do on the other side of the bridge.
Right.
They don't venture over my way too much. Inner West.
Okay. Let's branch out,
mate. We'll
give Cohen a call.
Yeah, give Simon a call, mate. He might be a bit busy. He's on one of those reality TV shows. Yeah. Like what do they call them? Like $1 million listing, but
yes.
Yeah.
Do you get into that sort of stuff? Those
mate, the American ones I did find them quite interesting. And then Simon, my boss, actually, he's in one for the Australian version
as we speak.
on Prime, I think.
Right.
So everyone got into that.
Simon, keep your phone on.
Yeah, mate. He's a busy boy. He's a very busy boy.
Away from work and footy, then what else do you do? This is like tackle 8, by the way.
Mate, what else do I do?
A bit of golf?
Look, yeah, I try to, but it's very time consuming. And then when you've got a
young
wife
bub.
and a 2-year-old.
Boy, girl?
Little boy, yeah, Max. So he definitely keeps me busy. In amongst that, trying to catch up with family and friends and do all that. Weekends just fly by. I work 6 days a week, so Saturdays as well. So it makes it hard to try and catch up with people. And
I know what you mean.
Everyone with kids these days, you've got to organise things in advance, otherwise they don't happen. So
yeah, I'm not the best at doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't just finish work on a Saturday and go to the pub.
No, a lot of my mates do that sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's like, particularly in this role, it's Oh, anyway, you wouldn't have it any other way. Timmy, that's the end of the set of 6, brother. It's I think this is episode 27, and I think I'm right in saying it's probably the longest set of 6 we've had. So well done you.
Thank you.
Bryden's lawyers are the lawyers you know and trust. If you require legal representation, then why look anywhere else? Call Bryden's lawyers on 1-800-848-848. Bryden's lawyers, we do support you in your time of need.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into some of the stories, and as I say, so you had 6 years at this club,
Yep.
90 games exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was 27 you retired at the age of. You're saying it's 26. How difficult was it when, you tried to go again at Manly,
Yeah.
but you knew the body just wasn't up to it?
It was heartbreaking,
Yep.
to be honest. Heartbreaking. I think I did the second ACL in 2013. And then in coming back from that ACL, we were at the end of 2013, I think it was in December, so training for the season of 2014. And my patella or kneecap snapped completely in half from
Crossways, downways, what?
sliced straight through the middle.
From impact, was it?
No impact.
How does that happen?
I've got no idea. The physio's got no idea. Doctor had no
What
idea.
game was that in?
That was not in a game. It was in training. So I was training, trying to get some Ks in the legs.
Was that here?
Yeah.
Out there?
Out on the field in, December. So I did my ACL, I think it was like May 2013. And obviously you do your 6 months worth of rehab and all that sort of stuff. And I was back into doing some running. And we were just doing like a 2-hand touch drill. And I sort of pushed to take off and it heard like a tree branch snap and
This
I
was
looked down.
2013?
Yeah, 2013, December. And I looked down and I had some tape over my knee because my kneecap had been sore. And I looked down and there was 2 pieces of bone either side of the tape. I thought it was a bit strange, and I just remember looking at physio. It's Pete Musa, who's still the physio now. He just
This ain't good, Tim.
yeah. We'd been through a fair bit together, Pete.
So that was the same knee that you had the recon?
Exact same knee.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I bet you spent a lot of time with Pete, and I bet you would have become very close.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and spent plenty of time together. I think, I've probably kept him up at nights a couple of times, and it's just a really difficult time. I think, the patella was something I wasn't prepared for, and then I thought, well, it's a bone, so bones heal quicker, so we might be able to get it sorted. I was wrong about that, and took a lot longer. Then I found myself losing weight, getting a bit sick. Kept going to the doctor every week, and nothing had really changed. Got a second opinion, and that second opinion told me I had staph, and took me in that night to give me surgery and scraped away a fair bit of cartilage, and I was back on the mend. My birthday in 2014. So
you're still playing though. You're playing, I guess, New South Wales Cup around.
Yeah, I
about there.
played.
You wanted to keep going.
Yeah. So I played maybe 3 or 4 games. No, I might have played 1 or 2 in 2014, and then when I tried to come back, my knee just blew right up, and it blew right up because I had staph.
Something wrong in there.
Yeah, so I had that infection. So then I went and got that sorted. Then 2015, I came back and I played a handful of games. Was getting some confidence back. Then popped my AC. And that put me out for, the back end of the season. Then I just sort of faded away.
You still wanted to go. You wanted to give this another
Yeah,
crack.
I definitely did. I think I remember Sheensy would always say, you're not a real first grader until you played 100 games, and that was always something that stuck with me. Even though I'd been around the club for so long, and I was here for almost 10 years.
Oh, you were a real first grader, Tim.
Yeah.
I mean, you got stuck on the 90.
Yeah.
But you still wanted to get back to the NRL after all those injuries. So you had a crack at Manly for that 2016 season, but that was I read something last night, and you said at the time, the medical advice I've received is that for my own quality of life and to enjoy being active in the future with my own children, the best decision for me is to retire. That's what you said back then.
Yep.
Fast forward now, what is it, 7 years or so? You've got a 2-year-old little boy.
Yeah.
In hindsight, you've made the right decision.
Yeah, look, I think I did make the right decision, and like looking back, as hard as it was, I think, you know, if I had tried to hold on to something and keep dragging it out, it was only going to make things worse. Also, from a point of view of moving into the real world, getting a job and facing those challenges, I think, I would have just been delaying the inevitable, really.
Well, let's talk about that, the transition into the real world.
Yep.
Because a lot of boys, well, they're probably more prepared these days, and most clubs, all clubs, have a wellbeing team and space, and we have a really good wellbeing team here, which helps players transition or prepare for life after footy. Did you have any idea what was going to happen after footy?
None.
No plan B?
Nope.
So that's what made it hard, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd done a few...
And by the way, most players at that time, and probably even now, would say the same thing. I don't have a plan B.
Yeah, no, well, you don't. I think it's like...
You're bulletproof.
Well, it's not only that, though. It's like asking a lawyer, do you have a plan B? You know what I mean? Like, does anyone that's got a job at the moment, do they have a plan B?
Yeah.
That's their job. So at that point in time, that was my job. That was my focus.
But it's a limited time span
I
for
understand,
a professional
I understand
athlete.
that for sure. So, you know, I tick some boxes with getting some, like a diploma in business and Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. And, you know, there were some avenues that I guess doors were open to, but nothing that really had grabbed me. And I'd always been intrigued by property, and it just so happened that at the time of my retirement, someone had reached out through someone, and offered me a gig in the real estate space, which is super foreign. Yeah. And I was going from, you know, I guess an NRL training schedule, which is pretty cruisy as opposed to the 9 to 5.
All mapped out for you. And,
well, looked after, and you know, you get your day off during the week, and you have your up days and your down days, and you know, some are pretty cruisy. So I went from that into a real estate space where, you know, I was starting at 8:30 and finishing at 5:30, and in a suit and tie, and it was very different. Look, I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed the transition. Probably burnt out because I think I started in May. So once I hit Christmas, I was pretty burnt out. But nevertheless, really enjoyed it and stuck with it for a while. Yeah,
that's the main thing. You're enjoying it now, right? So
that's look, great. I'm enjoying the space I'm in for sure. And really do enjoy the real estate space and enjoy the role that I play now. And, you know, there's a part of me that's always really liked the fact of, you know, seeing people happy and helping people. And I guess in some way I get to do that as part of my job.
You said earlier you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and probably all NRL players, maybe sometimes they probably take a bit for granted. Maybe, I don't know.
It's easy to get caught up.
But
what
would your advice be? What would your advice be to NRL players these days? Because it can end anytime, can't it? Yeah,
well, as I said, I had it all mapped out, and it didn't just crash and burn for me. So, yeah, it can change pretty quickly.
But enjoy it while it's there, right?
Well, yeah, of course, enjoy it while it's there, and enjoy the time you have, and enjoy the relationships you make. Some of the best friendships I've made are all out of rugby league. A lot of them from the Tigers here.
I was going to say, and it's advice across any walk of life, isn't it? Enjoy the now, because you know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah, of course. And, if you worry about what's going to happen in the future too much, you never end up enjoying yourself in the moment. So, and I guess that was why I never really looked too far ahead in terms of what it was I wanted to do, because I still felt I had a lot to give with the league.
It's good that you found a groove, you found something you enjoy doing. So
yeah.
You mentioned there you played with some wonderful players in those 6 years at this club. Many of them are still here now in a coaching capacity.
Yeah.
I imagine you made some lifelong friendships.
Definitely. Made plenty of them. I'd have to say, I lived with Benj for close to 4 years, I think it was, yeah.
Righto, okay, all right.
So we had a good household there, myself, Benj.
Was Benj well behaved? Was he? What
Oh,
was he
yeah,
like
he
on
was
the
pretty
domestic
good.
front? Was he good, clean, and tidy up, and all that sort of stuff?
I'll tell you what, he's come a long way. Apparently he cooks at home and all that now. But
Was he not big on the cooking caper back then?
None of us were, actually.
Oh, just.
Tanyella Tuiaki lived with
And
us
he
as
didn't
well.
have Uber Eats back then.
Nah.
Oh, Tanyella.
Yeah, so there was the three of us and a couple of mates. My brother was in there at one stage too. We had a 5-bedroom
Where was this joint?
place just in Mortlake, so not too far from training, so we could make it in. But yeah, we had a good time there. It was good fun.
Did you have a cleaner?
We should have, but no, we didn't. We didn't even have a front door key, actually.
Well, I don't lock my door either. So you just leave it open, come and go.
It was open 24/7.
Well,
Yeah.
not me. I mean, who's going to come and mess with Tanyella, right?
Well, yeah. Good luck to you.
So you didn't have a cleaner. So who was the most domesticated of you lot? What were Benji's bad habits as a roommate, a housemate?
Oh, he didn't really have any bad habits. I think if anything, he's just, he was the rock star at the time, and
Still is?
Yeah, he still is. But at that time, it was like, what was it? 2009, 2010, 11. He was like at the peak of his powers. I think our run in 2009, we were playing some really good footy.
Yep.
We had some Friday night games, which always meant we could have a Saturday drink,
Weekend
which was always fun. And there was no Instagram or
None of that.
cameras on phones and all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that we did
No.
anything crazy, but it was always good to just go
But
out.
you could
and
let your hair down a bit
be
more.
left alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just had a ball. We had plenty of fun.
Yeah, I mean, with Benj, he was a rock star then, and we recently had the trip to New Zealand, and it was such a good trip, I think, for the club.
Yeah.
We took the game over there, a home game to Hamilton a couple of weeks back, and
Yep.
my goodness, we were so well received. And Benji, he is like a god over there, and a lot of the young kids, little kids at some of the schools we went to, they were in awe. Now, they would never have known Benji or seen Benji, but I guess their parents...
Talk about him.
Talk-
and yeah, I think...
Did you think? Sorry, did you think as a player back then he would go down the coaching path?
To be honest, I didn't know what path he would go down. He's a very, very smart individual. I don't think a lot of people probably think that. I think he's just a great footy player, but he's actually very clever. Like Rubik's cubes and crosswords.
He's good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Learns guitar on his own, learns piano on his own, and he's just a all-round clever guy. And I think the main thing that I noticed when we lived together, and everyone, all my mates that ever met him or family or anyone, he was just always really generous and
genuine.
And genuine. So
It's a big gig. Moving into the head coaching role.
Look, it is.
Year.
It's a lot of pressure, and it's. The West Tigers. I don't know why it is, but we seem to be talked about a fair bit. Yep. Always in the media. I remember when we were playing. I don't know. I always felt like we were everyone's. They didn't follow us, we were everyone's sort of second favourite team. I feel like that was probably because of the brand of footy we played, and it was an exciting style, and there were a few years there where that worked. Losing a few personnel over time and coaching, chopping and changing, and obviously at the moment things aren't too great, but hopefully they're on the up.
Yeah, you mentioned there that and it's happened. I've only been here for a couple of years, but everyone wants to talk about the club, and we haven't had success for a long time. But looking around this place, and I had a chat to you off air, didn't I? There's a lot of good stuff happening around the club, not just here at the Zurich Centre, but pathways in the women's space, everywhere you look.
Yeah.
And one just wonders when we do, I don't say if, I say when we do have success on the field, it could be very, very big.
Yeah. Look, everything's in place for that to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, it's obviously just getting the points on the board, so to speak, and getting a team together that gels and can turn things around. But I look, someone like an Appy Coruscant, for him to re-sign, I think that just shows some big faith in the club. And if I was a young kid coming through and I saw that and came through the facilities here and see the likes of Benji and Robbie and Hino and then, a few of the others around the club, I think it's a pretty proud club and it would be something that I'd want to be a part of.
Yeah, and the way Benji this year is really hands-on coach, and I've said it a couple of times on here. He could easily slip the boots on and go out there and play.
Yeah,
he has just got so much skill, but understand, and we got a really young squad here, really young squad. I'd hazard to say probably the youngest squad in the NRL.
Yeah,
and I think they really warmed to him too. So I think he'll do a great job, and I'm looking forward to next season. He's already very more hands-on now too for the last couple of games. Just talking of that young squad we've got here, you've been watching much of this season. Are any of the players that have sort of stood out for you?
Mate, I've caught a few games. Young Buller has definitely been a standout for me. He's been amazing. I remember at the start of the year, Hino said to me, mate, you wait till this young guy Buller, he'll get a game at some stage and he won't look back. And that was at the very start of the year, and then he came on the scene, and I don't think he'll be slipping back into Premier League
anytime soon.
Yeah, the other comp ever or anytime soon. Young Tupou on the wing, I really like him. Just carries strong, and he's a good finisher. When he finishes,
he likes to chat. Junior doesn't stop. No, I'm just joking.
Doesn't talk?
No, he's very quiet. Lovely fella. He's got a really dry sense of humour once you get to know him. But yeah, he doesn't like these things.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, they can be intimidating, I think. There's so much of this stuff that they have to do these days, It wasn't
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of this around when we were around, so
no.
There's no podcasting, no.
Don't think I ever even did an interview.
No.
But I was Reggie. Yeah.
So it's a bit different. But yeah, there's a handful of young players that I like. But yeah, I think Buller's probably at the top of the pack there.
And there's a few coming through as well, just quietly.
Yeah.
So,
but also, Appy.
How good's he been?
Week in, week out, he's just, he's a machine. Unreal. So he's someone that I would happily stand behind and And
What about we just ditch the number 9, just slot it into the 7 shirt at the weekend? So
yeah, I
seamless?
know it's a bit of a risk to take a New South Wales hooker and move him into the halves, but young Simpkin,
Jakey, yeah. So
did
he's
his
out.
role, and I
He's
think Appy played in the halves in the World Cup. So
Oh, he's played there before, but I mean, he's just he's such a talented. But away from that, as I said before, he's just such a born leader. Can I ask you then, going back to your career, who would be the best player? Yeah, okay. So this is all off the cuff. Who would be the best player you played with, and who do you reckon was the best player you played against? I can give you some think music if you need it to. So
no. I'd say with would be Benj,
yeah,
and I'd say against Thurston.
yeah, couple of handy players there.
Yeah, hated playing Thurston.
Yeah.
Most times I played him fullback. Most times, he just used to kick the corners and I'd just get bashed. So
Yeah, he was such a game controller.
yeah,
Thurston.
but there was a lot of great players. I mean, like obviously the likes of Cronk and Smith and Slater and
JT's at the top.
yeah, JT.
What were you like as a player? Did you have many like match day rituals or superstitions? What sort of a player were you?
Not really. Used to get up, Benji and I'd go for a coffee and a bacon egg roll in the morning, and then we'd
On
just
game
sort
day?
of
Nice healthy start to the day.
exactly. Then just sort of make our way to our room, and he was a big gamer.
Was he?
Yeah, gamer or
Wonder if he's still in the game.
yeah,
Bench.
he is. I'm sure
Is
he
he?
is. Yeah. He was into like Guitar Hero, and there was a drum one that he could do, and I don't know. I'd just go and watch TV or DVDs or something, but then we just emerge and
Off you go.
off we went to the stadium. So nothing really superstitious.
We had some quirky ones. What was it? Brooksy, I think. Brooksy puts left sock on, then left boot on, then right sock, right boot. Every time. Eh? And he was the first to get strapped. Or was that Clem? Yeah. So you had nothing, no quirks like that.
Nah, nothing really.
Something you had
I
to
always
eat.
used to try and walk out last. That was just something I did.
Oh, out into the pitch, back of the, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you watched bit of the NRLW this year? I've been
I
really
have.
impressed with what I've seen.
Yeah, I have.
They great start. The girls won the first two, lost the last 2 or 3. They just on the NRLW too. I think it's great that we've now got a pathway for the women all the way through from the the Raw Academy right through to the top. We've got you like Taylor Swift? Are you a bit of a muso or give or take?
I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't need
I'm
to.
sure I've heard.
We've got
her
some
songs.
concert tickets, Timmy, to be won, to Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Now, so if you are watching, all you have to do to go into it, we've got 2 tickets to give away.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
Am I giving them
Ching,
away?
ching.
Or?
No. A reserve. And what sort of value are we putting on these? We don't know. Write your own ticket, right? 2 to give away. So to go into the draw, into the running, all you need to do is buy tickets to our NRLW match. It's the last match of the regular season. It's round 9. It's a standalone. It's a Thursday night at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. And rewind before that, a couple of weeks before that, the girls, the whole team will be at MacArthur Square Shopping Centre as well for a signing session. But all you got to do is buy tickets to that game. You will then go into the draw to win 2 Taylor Swift tickets.
That's huge.
It's good, isn't it?
Well, apparently no one can get them. So
Where are we going from here? I reckon it's time for the favourite 5. Are you ready for the favourite 5? Because look at that clock up there. See it? There it is.
do see it now.
We've only got about 5 to go, Timmy Moltzen. So,
Bryden's lawyers are the lawyers you know and trust. If you require legal representation, then why look anywhere else? Call Bryden's lawyers on 1800 848 848. Bryden's lawyers, we do support you in your time of need.
as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
your favourite player growing up?
Favorite player growing up was.
Who'd you support?
I supported the Bears, but Joey John's.
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favourite player.
He's still having a blue with Maddie, apparently. I heard that today on, I think, Kiss FM. Still blue on those two brothers. Haven't spoken for a week, months.
It's funny, like, not that, but like growing up and
Brotherly
someone
love.
like that's your favourite player, mate. I bumped into him the other day and just have a chat to him like normal. It's like, I think it's it's funny when once you get into that league fraternity, you almost
Yeah.
you can
Connect.
and gravitate towards one another and have a
Yeah.
chat because you do have something in common,
Something
which
very
is
much in
one
common.
thing that
Yeah.
I do love about the league community.
Well, that was a question. Let's rewind a bit. I actually was going to ask you, what was your favourite thing about being an NRL player?
I get my favourite thing in amongst it, I guess, was just, it's hard to say everything, but I mean, just coming into training day in, day out with essentially your best mates.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Those lifelong friendships you made, and you mightn't bump into Joey or Matty Johns or whoever it was, a former, for years. But when you do, because you've been in the trenches with them.
Well, even then, like someone like Joey, I never played with or
No.
against, but like, he might have commentated on a game or two. I played for country one year and he was out there and we'd had a couple of beers together and it just, you end up meeting a lot of people along the way. But I don't know, there was something special about the team that we had here and the bunch of guys we had as well. I know a lot say that about the 05 group as well. And I wasn't here for that. I was still in high school, but yeah, we had a special bunch that we're all still pretty tight, but as I said, with kids and summer coaching and everyone's everywhere. It's really
busy,
hard to catch up.
I know. Everyone's busy. We're all
Everyone's
busy. We're all super busy. Keep in mind that some of those players from your era, though, because we've got a barbecue coming up shortly in these questions.
Rightio.
All right. Favourite moment in your NRL career?
Oh,
Was it the debut?
debut was up there. Yeah, the debut was up there. I think 2011 we won the semi against St George and we came fourth. We played, and it was the old system, fourth versus fifth. 1v8, 2v7,
Oh, McIntyre.
3v. Yeah.
I think it was the McIntyre.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was a big game. There were some cool ones. There was a good one at Leichhardt where we played the Cowboys. That was when the Leagues Club was still open.
Yes.
Played them on a Sunday at Leichhardt and it was packed. People on roofs and there was a brawl in the scrum with Farah.
That's threw a couple, did he?
Well, Anthony Watts, this young redhead guy,
Yes,
was in
I
the
remember
scrum
that,
and North Queensland Cowboys. It was the
Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah. Anyway, we had an attacking scrum down down our end. Anyway, Benji scores off the scrum and no one really knows what happened, but we look back and Farah was on the ground, knocked out.
Oh, so Fafs wasn't throwing a couple.
Well, it turns out he'd been knocked out by this Anthony Watts in the scrum.
Redhead.
So, yeah, no one knew about it. Anyway, there was no concussion protocols back then. So they kicked off. We had a couple of hit-ups and dropped the ball, made a mistake or something or whatever. Anyway, there was a scrum comes up and I think the front row was at the time, maybe Gibbo and Toddy Payton or Gibbo and Keithy. And Faf just said, let me pack in, no arms, I'm just going to go under. And he said to Gibbs and Keithy, hold the other front rowers. So they both went in and that was it. Farah was like,
blew up.
Just left bombs. Anthony Watts comes out and his head looked like he'd been stung by about 100 bees. And then they both got sent for 10.
He had a head like a careless beekeeper.
Mate, it was unreal and the fans were just going wild. And we ended up beating them that day. and there's some pretty good tries in amongst that. And as I said, Leichhardt on a Sunday, Sunny Hill, packed,
Yeah.
hard to beat.
Ran Robbie Farah calling a cattle dock. By
Pretty
sounds of it.
essentially. And look, Anthony Watts deserved
Well,
everything he got and then some. And it was good to see Faf get it back. And Faf fancies himself as a bit of a boxer. So
well, revenge is a dish best served cold. And not that we condone any violence.
no, we
in
don't. But that's
sport.
how things were back in the days, I think.
They were. Righto. Okay. We're having a barbecue at Brooksy's with his new.
What is this thing with his barbecue? Like, what?
It was just a gift, a farewell, because it was going to his last home game at Combank.
Yeah.
He couldn't play, unfortunately, but what do you give a man that's got everything? He revealed in that very chair there, he revealed that he is a really keen chef, barbecue chef.
Right.
So the club thought, well, what better gift? Let's give him a Mickey Mouse barbecue, right? Oh, some of the media have had a field day with it. I think it's quite good, actually. So we're having a barbecue at Brooksy's. No, it's not in the salary cap, by the way. We've checked that too, for those that want to point the finger at us. Brooksy's asked you to invite 3 guests along, former teammates of yours. He's going to cook rump cap. You had rump cap?
What sort of party? What sort of
Just
barbecue
barbie.
does he want it to be, though?
No, just quiet. There'd be
Quiet? He wants
you,
a quiet?
him. Oh, well, no, I didn't say quiet, but just you, him, and 3 former teammates. You can let your hair down. It's postseason, and he's got to burn. He's got to, like when you got a cricket bat, you got to sort of get it in, wear it in. He's got to do that with this barbecue.
Yeah. Wear the barbie in.
Yeah.
Who's good for a barbie? Mate,
Well, just
I'd have way more than 3 there.
you can't.
I know I can't, but
An entertainer.
yeah, well, Bo Ryan's always good.
Oh, Bo.
Good value.
Bowie was there.
I'd have him there.
He'd be too busy, Bo, off doing his bloody jungle or
Who
TV
else would
things.
I'd have Blake Ashford.
Blake.
Blake Ashford, yeah. He's one of my rock solids from back in the day.
Okay, so you got a rock
We did
solid there.
plenty-
You got the
plenty
you got
together.
Bo, if he turns up.
And who
Yeah,
else?
what's he doing, Bo? Around the
He's doing the amazing race.
amazing race.
He's doing well. He's doing really well, actually. He's he's doing
No, he's doing-
extremely well.
He'll find time, Bowie.
Um,
He said he was going to pop on here too, but
yeah, when he finds time.
he finds time. So we got Bo, we got Blake.
We got Bo, we got Blake.
Is it all bees? Does the
Yeah,
bench
maybe, because I might say Benji, because he can play some music.
and the Rubik's Cube?
Well, he's a guitarer, a DJ.
Is there anything this Benji Marshall can't do?
Well, not that I can think of.
Okay, lock them in. Benji, Bo, Blake, Timmy.
Brooksy.
And Brooksy, the 4 Bs. And you.
And his barbecue.
And the bar. Very good. Very good. Righto. Oh, gee, I tell you, we're going to rattle on. You've got houses to, not sell, to buy.
To purchase, yeah.
I've got other things to do as well.
Yep.
Your favourite bit of advice, Timmy Moltzen, that you've been given in life.
In life.
Yep. Nothing to do with football. Well, that might.
I think start the way you want to finish. Something that I was always taught.
Okay.
Start the way you want to finish.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And what about advice in footy? Maybe a Sheensy or a teammate or a senior player might have given you that helped you through your career?
I think just don't overthink it. But the other thing was also, just work on all the little things. I think,
That sounds very Sheensy.
yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we did with Sheensy that were very, very, very much so 1% things that you'd think, we already know how to do this, but we'd
Under
still
fatigue.
Yeah, but we'd still do, 100 passes a day extra and just all these little things that we didn't think would make a difference. But I think it's just about not cutting corners and doing those little extras because it all adds up.
The little things turn into
The
big
little
things.
things.
Mate, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Great to get to know you a bit better and talking about some of those stories and some goss on Benji too, stuff I didn't know about. By the way, there's a lot of grand finals happening this weekend in the Junior Rugby League around our pathways, but right throughout New South Wales. So to all the teams out there, young boys and girls that might have made the grand final, well done on getting this far. Good luck on the weekend. There can only be one winner, but well done on getting it through to grand final day. We've got a really big day on Saturday. I'll be going from a couple of grand finals actually, and then out to Allianz Stadium, double header there, NRLW and NRL taking on the Roosters. So let's hope we can get back-to-back wins there. And as I said, the Flegg and New South Wales Cup, they're playing on Sunday also against the Roosters at Wenty Park. All right, until next week, you know the deal. Same time, same place. Show your stripes.